Good to have you back.
Oh,
Mike.
yeah, it's good to be I'm glad to be back again. It's really interesting, I must say.
And it is countdown to Christmas.
Countdown to Christmas.
Are you?
It's good to bring back that feeling again. Sometimes,
I miss those days.
Some of the decorations have started, gracing the town, and then
Yes.
if you're going to the island, you see those beautiful lights and so on. It's really nice, I must say.
Absolutely, but I
Yeah.
miss those days where I know that by this time I would have gotten my Christmas dress. For
No,
my
you have to
parents,
get the Christmas dress for
shoes.
other people right now.
Right, right.
All right, we can count down to Christmas, just 19 days more, and I wonder if everyone is ready, because that is in the air right now.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Oh yeah, we're streaming live on YouTube, but you can also connect with us on Twitter using the hashtag TVC Breakfast. All right, let's begin with the news now. It's a period of accusations and counter-accusations over Friday's rearrest of the convener of Revolution Now, Omoyele Sowore, at the Federal High Court in Abuja.
After the condemnations of the fracas, many believe was caused by the Department of State Services, the security agency has come out to deny it arrested Mr. Sowore inside the court, but the publisher's lawyer has countered that denial. Before we get into that, let's bring you this exclusive interview we had with Mr. Sowore's mother. Esther Kehinde Sowore described her son as a God-fearing man who has never committed a crime.
Now, she also says that her health has degenerated, and she's unhappy her son might be absent from home as the festive season approaches.
In the name of Allah, I am begging Buhari in the name of Allah to release my son. It's affected my health. It's affected my health. Release my son for me. Release my son. Release Omoyele. It is time. Enough is enough. Release Omoyele for me. Sir, help me. Everybody is preparing for Christmas and New Year. And if not because of this continued dissension, my son will have been prepared for going to the village to meet me and meet everybody in the village. Everybody is waiting for him. So I am now pleading to Muhammadu Buhari to assist me, to help me, to release. I need fully release from Muhammadu Buhari. Fully release, 100% release. So I am now inviting all the leaders, Tinubu, Soyinka, the vice presidents, and all the leaders to assist, to help me to release Omoyele Sowore. It's not a criminal, it's a man.
And back to the DSS statement, it says its men were stationed in the court premises and not in the courtroom, and that the arrest drama was orchestrated by Mr. Sowore's supporters.
Now, DSS spokesman Peter Afunanya says Mr. Sowore's supporters mobbed him while chanting, you can't arrest him, in a bid to shield him from an imaginary arrest. Well, but Mr. Sowore's lawyer, Femi Falana, has countered the DSS denial.
In his words, quote, as soon as the case was adjourned, the SSS pounced on Sowore and caused a disruption of the proceedings of the court, end quote. Mr. Falana also countered the DSS press release by asking, quote, if Sowore's supporters subjected him to such brutalization in the presence of the DSS operatives, why were they not arrested for contravening the provisions of the Anti-Torture Act 2017, end quote? Or were the SSS operatives expecting the supporters of the defendants wanted by the state to kill him in their presence? End of quote.
All right, now the presidency has also lent its voice to the Omoyele Sowore issue.
According to the statement signed by the president's spokesman, Garba Shehu, the Department of State Services does not need the presidency's permission in all cases to carry out its essential responsibilities as laid down in the Nigerian constitution. He said Nigerians ought not to be surprised that Mr. Sowore is a person of interest to the DSS following his call for a revolution, which he did on television.
He said no government will allow anybody openly call for destabilization of its hard-won democracy and do nothing. reiterating the fact that Nigeria is already dealing with issues of insurgency caused by militants fighting for some sort of revolution. He said the country doesn't need another spate of lawlessness and the loss of lives in the name of revolution.
Last Friday was a day many Nigerians will not forget in a hurry.
Reactions have continued to trail the commotion that ensued in the court premises as officials of State Security Service tried to rearrest convener of the Revolution Now protest, Omoyele Sowore. And since then, it's been claims and counterclaims of a court invasion and the scuffle that ensued. As the world prepares to commemorate Human Rights Day tomorrow, the 10th of December, many Nigerians have described the manner in which Sowore was rearrested as the worst violation of human rights and an attack on the country's democracy.
Joining us now is a lawyer, UK Solicitor Femi Aina. Good morning.
Yes,
thank you for joining us.
Yes.
All right, so we saw, I'm sure you're monitoring what happened,
Yes.
the fight for Sowore's release taking a different turn on Friday.
Yeah.
And several reactions have trailed this. And then the DSS is coming to say now that Sowore and his members staged what happened. I wonder what you make of all of this.
Well, you see, the problem is this. Let me just try as much as possible to be objective about this. Number one, I blame the DSS because there seems to be really behaving as if they are not really posh. There's nothing wrong. You can have a lawful act and carry it out in an unlawful manner. Rearresting a suspect or an accused person, there's nothing new or big about it, because sometimes information can come to light. You've charged him with one offense and then something now crop up, another evidence comes to light, and you want to rearrest him and prefer further charges. It's a very simple procedure. What I know, where I've been and where I come from, is that the police will call you because they know you are the solicitor on record and tell you that, look, we'd like to see you and your client at the police station. You arrange a convenient time. If the client is in prison, they just book a legal visit for you and they book for the police officer and they prefer the charges. End of story. But my major concern about this Sowore issue is this. Why were the DSS there in the first instance? If they are saying they were not there to arrest him, he cited them, he ran back into court. Well, every accused person will do that normally. But the issue is this: was he arrested in the long run or not? He was. So which shows your intention. And my other concern is this. You see, what is going on here? We need to look at it seriously. It's becoming some sort of a personality clash between the lead counsel for Sowore and the DSS DG. And in the middle of that clash is Sowore himself. Because
is that what it is?
No, yes, I will tell you why. Number one, you know, the Lana Senior Counsel has been very critical of the DSS DG. At a point, he said the man has refused to pick his call. Now, last Friday, he said that the Director General of the DSS instructed his operative to abduct Mr. Sowore in court. That was his word. And that is a very colorful word, to use the word abduction, not arrest. And you see, what you need to do, I understand we need to fight for the clients and what have you. But at the same time, if you know that I'm going to deal with them using the instrumentality of the law, there's no point exchanging words or using colorful languages. What you need to just wait that, okay, you want to arrest him, I will get one of my lawyers to follow him to wherever, and I will deal with the work legally. Otherwise, if you are not careful, they will take it on him. But what I'm saying is this: even I blame the judge for her generosity of spirit, washing all of them. If it's me, if I'm the judge, what I'll do, DSS, Sowore, everybody, just put them in the cell. By 5 o'clock, they will come, because things will come down.
Well, why is that?
I will tell you why. Because what happened in court on that day is what is called legally contempt in the face of the court. Because you know the judge was there seeing everything until maybe the oddly tell her, look, you better go in your chamber. But normally, what will have happened in other crimes is that they will just take all of them into custody. By 5 o'clock, you bring them, everybody will have calmed down and find out what is happening. You see, we need to try and be very, very careful. This is a democracy. We are not under a Nazi regime where security agencies will be behaving in the Gestapo manner. And it is very important for those operatives, the DSS operatives, to respect the rule of law and respect the sanctity of the court.
All right. Everyone is very concerned in the manner by which it was carried out. But however, let's come back to the issue of the court giving an ultimatum for Sowore to be released in the first place previously, which they did. Now, with the release and rearrest now, it means that court order in the first instance has been nullified. It no longer stands with this rearrest.
Yes, because, you know,
how likely is it that another court order can be, you know, issued for him to be
yes,
released?
Definitely, because it's in custody now as we speak. So what the lawyers need to do is to approach the court again in the light of this new development. Maybe he has a bail application, so any subsequent he succeeded with the first bail application, so any subsequent bail application will probably succeed depending on the charges preferred against him. But the nut and both of it is this. You see, there's no point engaging in a pointless exercise of power if you can do things in a very civilized manner. And if you have power, you need to be humble. You release Sowore. Definitely, maybe you have other evidence. There's no big deal about it. You reach out to the lawyer and say, look, this is what we are going to do. And those who are advising the DSS, they need to tell them the truth. You see, the problem I have in this country, sometimes people get starstruck because this person is the governor, this person is this. They just don't tell them the truth. Tell them that, look, I'm a lawyer. I have a duty to the court. If you continue this way, I may not represent you again. It's as simple as ABC. And that is the way to go.
All right. UK Solicitor Femi Aino, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Sports news is up next, and Mia Akiri is here, but that's after this break. Stay with us.
We'll wait to see how these things play out. Absolutely. Let's move on now. Last Friday was a day many Nigerians will not forget in a hurry.
Reactions have continued to trail the commotion that ensued in the court premises as officials of State Security Service tried to rearrest convener of the #RevolutionNow protest, Omoyele Sowore. Since then, it's been claims and counterclaims of a court invasion and the scuffle that ensued.
As the world prepares to commemorate Human Rights Day tomorrow, the 10th of December, many Nigerians have described the manner in which Sowore was rearrested as the worst violation of human rights and an attack on the country's democracy. All right, joining us right now is the UK solicitor, a Nigerian lawyer, and also has practiced across the United Kingdom. Yes. Femi Aino, it's good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
All right, now, let us take it from the human rights perspective. A lot of Nigerians are, pointing fingers to that aspect of things. If you look at Nigerian human rights record over the decades, Nigeria has not necessarily fared well on that index. Yes. Is this another blow to that?
No, well, it is. And it's a culmination of what is going on in this country, whereby people don't even respect the rule of law. You want a government, you want a country that will respect domestic law, international law, and decision of international institutions. And why do we have the court? The court is a structure, it's an institution for meeting human needs. And if you start going to court arresting people, and you start going to court causing commotion here and there, that will affect what is called access to justice, because people will not approach the court because of fear of being of arrest, and that is not supposed to be. And you see, let's just be realistic. If we allow this sort of impunity to continue, we have to be very careful. Law will become a yesterday business in Nigeria if it is not correct.
If we allow, how can we address this? Because, like it is said, the judicial system is the last hope of the common man. Yes. So where lies the hope of the common man? And how do we address this?
The way to address it is very simple. Well, the court must be ready to impose sanctions where necessary. You will recall when the judge said, if you don't release Sowore within 24 hours, I will deal with you seriously. What happened? they obeyed that order. Even let's forget what happened, they paid the fine. So sometimes it is very, very important. You know, I was here last time when we discussed issues about P and ID.
Yes.
And the court said, pay 250,000 towards the cost of the other side, pay 200 million towards. And Nigeria comply. You see, the court must be ready to back and bite. It is not about backing alone. And what I'm worried about, which I'm concerned about, is that judges must not be intimidated by anybody, because otherwise that will undermine the rule of law. And Nigerian judges needs to either come together and say, look, we can't allow this, can't continue. What's the point of the court granting bail to someone and you are still keeping him in detention?
They have condemned this act and they say it's a desecration, and they came up with some demands, and one of which is that they immediately investigate the shameful act, according to them, of the DSS, and they are also calling for the removal of the DSS chair.
Well, the responsibility lies with whoever is the head of the DSS. But my own concern, I still blame the presidency per se, the president of the country, especially the vice president. He's a lawyer himself. At least one, we expect him to call these people to order. And let me even tell you something. You see, if I'm a president of this country, I want people to know I'm working. I want them to know that I'm dealing with issues relating to kidnapping, bad roads, and what have you. So what I need to do, I don't want any bad news overshadowing my good intention. Because if you look at majority of the newspaper today, it's about Sowore. It's not about whether the federal government of Nigeria will provide free rail service from Lagos to Abeokuta because of during the ULETI. You see, so the members of the public, you need to get your achievements or programs and what have you across. And if all this bad news is overshadowing that, it causes a problem.
It derails the attention.
Everything. Okay. And if you go out there and ask people that, do you know about somebody called Sowore, they will have something to say. Exactly. And you don't want Sowore to cause a revolution. But what these DSS people are doing, if they are not careful, these are things that trigger revolution all over the world. What happened in Tunisia? That led to the subsequent the Arab Spring. It's just because of police and one individual. So we need to be very careful. They need to call them to order that, look, we don't need this. And also the lawyers who are acting for Sowore too, they also need to, don't worry. Look, what happened where I've been and where I come from. When the police tell me something that this is what we are going to do, I just tell them, you do what you have to do. I will do what I have to do.
All right. Hours after this active or the drama that ensued in court, we heard responses and reaction from U.S. senators, calling on the government to, try to backpedal. On the other hand, in fact, Senator Menendez was saying that they will use the instrumentality of government to try to see how they can intervene. What impact can that have on this whole process?
Well, it has an impact because, Nigerian image is already dented all over the world because people see us as this and that. And with this will help the situation. But I can't blame the senators. And I know I heard during your newspaper report when somebody said it's our internal problem. It's not. And the way it works is this. You see, if you have somebody, what the lawyers used to do, and I do that also, sometimes if there's a problem with one of your clients, you can even get the senator or the MP to intervene in that matter because of one thing or the other. And they can reach out to the minister and say, look, this is about this, my constituency person is having this problem, whatever. And the matter gets resolved. That's why that senator is coming forward. And don't forget, Sowore, I believe, is a U.S. citizen. The wife is a U.S. citizen, so they have some responsibility. Citizenship connotes certain rights. And the right to arbitrary detention and what have you is something you must not condone. Let's forget other African countries that live their citizens. So when you are a citizen of a country, this comes within that you are not arbitrarily detained, you are not harassed, you are not subject to social or unnecessary inhuman treatment. That's why they are getting involved. So you see, this is still boiled down to what I'm saying, that the situation is getting out of hand now. with this international intervention and what have you. So somebody needs to take the bull by the horn and nip this in the bud. If you want to take Sowore to court, charge him to court, let him face the trial. We even want to hear the evidence they have against him. It's just about saying I address a press conference. No, no, no. We need something more tangible. And my worry is either maybe the DSS, they just don't want him to face that trial. That's why they are causing all this drama.
All right. We have to leave it here now. Femi Aino, UK solicitor, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.